Hey y'all, I'm going to show you a little bit of fighter pilot stuff. Going to use an F-18 and we're at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Going to take off and head toward the Eiffel Tower and do a pretend bombing run on it. Show you a little split S maneuver, return to target maneuver, and then how to do some hard turns. Come back to the airport and do a military overhead style pattern. Has an initial where you fly up the runway heading, and then you brake hard, and then you do a final turn and land. So I'll try to do all that, see how well I do. Ready to fly. Adjust this forward just a little bit, put my HUD on the display so I'll have both displays. I'm going to hit the parking brake, hit the throttle, disengage the parking brake I should say. Now steering on the ground is twisting the stick. For me, I don't have pedals. That's fine. I'm looking for 160 knots to rotate. There's 160. Pulling up till that is right on the horizon, just like that. And then gear. Reach over and hit flaps. It wobbles a little bit as the flaps come up. And that's about as high as I want to be right there. I want to be real low level, getting 300 knots. So I'm going to go ahead and level and bring that little round airplane dot to the horizon. We'll come around to heading of 230. There's 230, and I see the Eiffel Tower already. So I'm nice and low altitude. I'm going to go ahead and engage the autopilot just so you can see what that looks like. There's radar altimeter. And now it will maintain that altitude, hands off. I'll do that for just a little bit, and then I'm going to disengage the autopilot by hitting Z, and we're going to look at a nice looking cathedral, fly by the Eiffel Tower, and then we'll do a split S maneuver, return to target, and then come back to Charles de Gaulle and do the landing. So now I'm hitting Z to take off the autopilot. Now I'm in full military power the whole time on this mission, okay? Because I'm going to be doing hard turns, and when you do hard turns, you bleed off airspeed. Coming up at just a little bit right of 12 o'clock, there's a nice cathedral. You'll see that coming into view on the right. Look at that, beautiful. All right, and then we see the Eiffel Tower coming into view right there. We'll just fly by. Wow, that is just beautiful, isn't it? And then we're gonna fly along the river here. And then you gotta really pull hard to stay in that river. And then we've got 625 knots. We're just gonna come up in our split S maneuver. We're gonna raise 45 degrees nose high. There's 45 or 50. Release the stick, kind of hold 45. And then when we see 400 knots, 400 knots right there. Now we're going to roll inverted, just like that, and then pull down. You'll see the horizon come back. Here comes the horizon. We'll just keep pulling. Our airspeed is nice and low as we're pulling through the vertical. We would not be doing 500 knots right now. 400 is plenty as you're pulling through the vertical because you get lots of G's. I'm already at 6.4 G's. Okay, so there we are, and now I'm going to look for the Eiffel Tower again. I think it's going to be right up this way. Let's see if I can find it again on my return to target maneuver. Pretty sure it's right up here. Yeah, there it is, right there. Okay. So that's what I call a return to target maneuver. And then there's a nice little cathedral right there under us. And then here's that other cathedral that we saw earlier. It's kind of cool. And wow, that's pretty. And then I'm just going to get up to about 2,000 feet here. And I'll show you some hard turns. I'm still doing 600 knots. Now I'm going to put the V button so I can see the map. Get over here with the mouse and zoom out so I know where I'm going. There's about 2,000 feet, so I'm gonna nose over, try to keep about 2,000 feet. Now, if I wanna do a hard turn, then I wanna keep the nose tracking across the horizon. See that little circle? It's below the horizon, so I'm gonna come out of bank some. I'm in about a 6G turn. And see, I'm just varying the bank angle to try and keep my altitude. I'm actually below 2,000, so I'll let it come up a little bit. And so I can get back to 2,000, and then I'm gonna get back to about 020 heading. And there we go. Okay, that was a hard turn. 2,000 feet, 400 and something knots. Pretty soon I'm gonna turn to initial. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and angle my way over to an initial approach. 080 would be exact initial. There's Charles de Gaulle up ahead. Let's see if I can do a nice initial approach. I undershot just a little bit. So there it is right there. Now come back, hard turn right, and I should be pretty close. Okay, I kind of missed a little bit. So I'm just gonna hard turn left again and get in a better position. And we'll try again. So now I'm going to 270, which angles me away. There I am at 2,000 feet. Notice my power is just full the whole time. And I can reduce my airspeed just by turning and pulling. And that's how it's commonly done. So here in a second, I'll try again, flying up initial and try to nail the runway direction better. Okay, so here I am at a little bit low. Let's get back up to 2,000 feet. A little circle above the horizon. And I'm coming around to 080, maybe just a little under. Where is Charles de Gaulle? There it is. Okay, so now here I am on runway centerline. This is what's called initial approach. I'm too high, but I'm lined up pretty well, and I want to be at about 2,000 feet. Flying over the numbers, okay? So here I go, 500 knots, and when I get over the numbers, I'm gonna brake. Pull the throttle back, hard turn to the left, trying to maintain altitude. 2,000 feet is what I really want. Don't descend too much. And then I just want to turn to the opposite of the runway heading, which is 260. Okay, so there I am. 260, I'm at 2,000 feet, 300 knots. I'm going to drop the gear. Hit the G, the 9. There's my gear and flaps. I'm a little low. 2,000 feet is what I want. I'll set my power. About halfway, half power, 250. It's pretty good right now. There's 2,100, a little too high. And I'm just about to turn final. I can look out to the left and see where I'm at. Okay, I can't really see the runway because it's back there too far, but that's all right. We'll turn here in a second. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and roll off the perch, is what they call it. We don't want to descend too fast in the final turn. But we want to make the turn all the way to 080. I'm descending a little bit too much. Okay. And there I am on final. Perfect. Drop the rest of the flaps and get all trimmed up. And then hit the speed brake, raise the power a little bit because I'm a little bit steep. So I'm going to drop down and get on a better glide path. Now that's a little better glide path right there. And kill the power because I'm kind of fast. And just round out, hold it off. I'm a little high, flaring a little high. Ooh, that was a Navy landing. Okay, so I'm not super used to the sim landings yet. It's a little hard to feel your, get your peripheral vision. Anyway, speed brake in, power up, flaps. Looking for 160. There's 160. Pop it off. Gear, flaps. Okay. And let's see, did I really get the gear up? Yes, I did. I don't have a gear indicator on the dash, so sometimes I wonder. All right, there we go. Coming up to 2,000 feet. My power's good. Overshot the altitude just a little bit. And so now all I'm gonna do is just turn back to that heading, which is 260. Try to stay at 2,000 feet and 260 heading. Now I'm going to drop the gear and flaps again. Gear, flaps. Let's look down and see. Yep, that was fine. And now we are on the downwind of the overhead traffic pattern, sort of at 2,000 feet. Fairly trimmed out at 250, looking pretty good. We'll see if we can make a better landing this time. Okay, so roughly 2,000 feet, 250 knots, gears down, flaps are first notch, and now I'm going to start on my final turn. And I'm going to keep it a little bit level as I'm coming around. Don't get too nose low. Come all the way around to, there it is, right there. And now we're going to drop full flaps, speed brake, and now I think we're on a better approach. 215, 200, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty much on where I want to be. And I can just milk it down. Getting a little bit slow here. Kind of got off center line there, but that's pretty good. Not bad for the sim. Okay, and then I just hit the parking brake and it stops for me. And that's it. So, introduction to hard turns, military overhead traffic pattern, a little simulated bombing mission with a return to target. And that's what you do in a fighter jet.